Well, welcome to the Senior Solutions Friday agency call. You got your two hosts on here, Joe Johnson, that's me in Chicago, and Jimmy Hernandez out of San Antonio, Texas. And we got a great show lined up for you. Kind of inspired by a couple of things. I've been working with quite a few agents this week and really talking about, kind of best practices on working direct mail leads. And we've got a lot of agents that are back on ordering reoccurring lead orders as well as one-time orders. So that's really good to see. Jimmy, you can tell me a little bit about your feelings or, what you're seeing in Texas, but I really see, at least here in Illinois and other parts of the country, now that the vaccine is out, the COVID rates are numbers are way down. There's a lot of states that are reporting 0 deaths from COVID, and I think close to about 30% of the population has now been vaccinated. What are you seeing out in Texas as far as the what's going on out there? Is it business as usual, or how's COVID affecting you guys out in Texas right now?
I have not been keeping up with the, official numbers, but I can just tell you from, a layperson's view, the retailers and stuff are becoming more laxed. I'm starting to see signs on the doors that say face mask recommended, but not required. Some places don't even have any kind of notification on the door anymore, which I take that as I don't have to wear my mask.
Sure.
I can tell you, I've been picking up. This has been a very busy week for me. So I just think that people are starting to get back and do stuff. I just see things starting opening up. I can tell you where I work out in the morning in Orange Theory, starting Monday, we don't have to wear a mask anymore. So we're first required to wear a mask during the workout, and then later it was only during the entry we could work out without it, and now we don't need it at all starting Monday. So I mean, I think it's starting to loosen up everywhere.
Yeah, that's encouraging. And so guys, man, if you're going to get busy, if you're going to pull out and make 2021 your best year ever, there's plenty of time left. You got well over half the year left to really push hard and make this happen. Man, I'm just telling you, things are just a general consensus, and I feel like the the atmosphere, the feelings, I'm not saying it's 100% back to normal, but man, to me, it feels like it's close to 85%. So let's, what's the old saying? Make hay while the sun is shining. So let's go out and make some hay. Today's topic, we're going to be talking, Jim and I are going to be talking about keys to success. Specifically, we're going to give you some tips and some ideas about working direct mail leads. My feelings and Jimmy's feelings both. I don't mean to speak for you, Jimmy, but we've always felt like the direct mail lead was the best lead in the business. There was this big thing a couple of years ago. Facebook leads were real hot. Most people I talk to and most of the blogs that I read and some of the videos I'm watching, like response rates on Facebook leads is way, like the response rates are way down, and the quality of the leads is turned into real crap. So unless you're generating your own Facebook leads, maybe you've got a way to I know there's some agents that are generating their own social media, their own Facebook leads. Yeah, certainly if you're getting good results, continue to do that. But as always, direct mail leads have always, and for the foreseeable near future, they are what we call the gold standard of leads in the final expense business. Okay, if you are watching this channel, if you have not subscribed to the channel, maybe, of course, this is a live webinar, so you can't subscribe now, but if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Jimmy and I put out brand new content every single week, and our goal is to add value to not only our sales force here at Senior Solutions, but also just to the general public. I know we have a lot of people that I mean, we have, well over, I think it's, 1,300 subscribers or something. And I know, we don't have 1,300 people on Senior Solutions. So there's a lot of people that have subscribed and watched the channel, even though they're not part of Senior Solutions. So all those that have subscribed and are going to subscribe, certainly appreciate you checking out our content. So moving on, talking about direct mail leads, we've got what I would say is a big announcement. Is this a game changer? I don't know if it's a game changer or not, but since day one, and I've, like I said, I got into the insurance business in 2009, and ever since then, I always wish it was like, man, I always wish there was a way where I could get fresh direct mail leads, but didn't have to pay for them in advance. The benefit of doing direct mail leads, like there are some companies that you can buy direct mail leads and like they're instant leads, like they're in inventory. Well, the reason why they're in inventory is because they could be 6 or 7 weeks old or even older. I know the first company I signed up with, we had instant purchases. I would purchase what they would call fresh direct mail leads. Some of them were 6 months old because they were just mass mailing. The responses would come in, they would put them in inventory, and then they would sell them to agents. And if they didn't sell, they would just sit there. Okay. So you're paying a hefty price and you're getting leads that are really, really aged. The best way to work direct mail leads is where you work with a vendor and you place an order, they drop the mail, and then 2.5, 3, maybe 4 weeks later, those leads start coming, they start trickling in, and then you instantly you get the leads within sometimes the same day that they're scanned into the mail warehouse. And then when you purchase that lead, should say when you get that lead, it's fresh. I mean, it's like a day or two old. The downside has always been is that we got to pay for the leads first. You pay for your mail drop. Average price for 1,000-piece mail drop is somewhere on average about $450. That'll get you a 1,000-piece mailer. And the dilemma with that is that number one, you got to put the money out first, then wait for the responses. And the problem's always been with mailers is that you never know how many you're going to get. You're going to get a good return rate? Are you going to get hopefully a 2% return rate, which would get you 20 leads? Or I've had situations where I've gotten a 0.5% return rate. And when you get a 0.5% return rate, that means you're paying like $80, $90 per lead. So I've had that happen. So ultimately, my opinion is that I always like working with vendors that offer a fixed lead cost. So I know exactly how much those leads are going to be. So back to what the dilemma is going to be. I just like, as an example, doing direct mail leads. If you do a drop, let's say you do a 1,000-piece mail drop or a 2,000-piece mail drop, you got to pay for, if you do a 2,000-piece mail drop, you're talking roughly about $900 for that drop. Now you're waiting 3 or 4 weeks for those leads to come in, and then as they start coming in, it's a good idea to do another mail drop. That's what most agents do. Ideally, what you want to be doing is dropping mail every single week. So as an example, if you're a brand new agent and let's say week 0, you drop a 1,000-piece mailer. That's $450 for a 1,000-piece mailer. Okay. Week 2, 1 week later, you technically really should be doing another mail drop. And then week 3 and week 4, and you should continuously always doing that. The problem is that has always been is that from the first time you did, from week 0, day 1, when you did your first mail drop, if it takes 4 weeks to do that, what's that? That's $1,800. You're $1,800 out of pocket if you've been consistently doing mail drops before your first lead comes in. So, Jimmy, I mean, we've talked about this and we've tried different things. We've always said, man, God, wouldn't it be great if we could find a vendor that would drop the mail, pay for it up front, no money out of our own pocket, and then as the leads come in, we pay for them as they come in. I mean, seriously, how many times have we talked about this?
Yeah, that would be ideal, Joe.
That it is ideal. And finally, we've got a vendor that's willing to do that. Okay. It's not an exclusive senior solutions vendor. They are part of the Integrity company. And so the deal is with this vendor is that they will do they'll do not mail drops, well, they'll do an initial mail drop. So basically the way it works with this vendor, let me just explain. For a new agent, because you don't know them, you don't know the quality of the leads, okay? You may be skeptical. To be honest with you, they're probably skeptical of you too, because if they're going to be mailing for you, they want to make sure that you're legit, and when these leads come in, you're going to purchase them. So how it works with this vendor is that if you're interested in placing an order with them, they will do a one-time drop for you. Yeah, they call it a test drop, okay? This is an opportunity for you, the agent, to test out the vendor, understand the quality of the leads, and we'll go over exactly what the lead says. There's only one lead to choose from, and it gives the vendor an opportunity to find out if you're a good agent and you're actually going to keep your word and pay for the leads. Now there's a financial agreement that you have to sign. It's a legal document that says that you are in agreement to purchase the leads that come in. The other thing, if you're interested in purchasing these leads, what I recommend is what should be mandatory or crucial is if you're going to order leads, you need to have a valid credit card or debit card with money in the bank before you order your leads. You don't want to order your leads and use, you got to put your credit card on file so they can charge it as the leads come in. If you only got one credit card or you got 3 credit cards and they're all maxed out, okay, this is not the right program. This is not like a free pass. This is not for you. This is for agents that just want to have the ability to kind of to float the vendor's money instead of floating your money. You need to have the resources to be able to pay for the leads as they come in. Does that make sense, Jimmy?
It certainly does, Joe.
And there's no deposit required. So basically how it is, you work you do the first drop, the test program, leads come in, you work them, you pay for them, they're good. You contact the vendor and then you can go, then you're allowed, then you go on your recurring order. Recurring orders, the minimum is 10 leads either a week. You can do 10 leads bi-weekly, or you could do 10 leads a month. So those are the opportunities you have is on recurring orders, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And you can stop the lead order anytime. You need to give them at least 1 week prior. And then you still would be responsible if you stop your lead order. Let's say, I don't know, you're on a reoccurring order, you're just getting more leads coming in than you can handle. You want to pause it. Maybe you're going on vacation. You want to pause your lead order for a little bit. You can certainly do that, or you can cancel it, but you're still responsible, or I should say, I like to say on the hook. You're on the hook for all the leads for the mail that's already been dropped. You're still going to need to pay for those. The other thing is that if there's extra leads that come in, you're responsible for at least 50% of what we call overflows. Those are leads that are above and beyond your order. So if you order, as an example, if you're ordering 20 leads a week, but 30 leads come in, that's 10 extra leads. You would be responsible to purchase at least 50% of the overflow, which I think is totally fair. The other thing with this vendor is that there's a possibility, depending on your where you're working, your location geographically, there could be an opportunity to buy some overflows at a discount. So as an example, if there's an agent that's been working an area and they've been getting a good response rate and there's more leads and inventory than that agent's taking, or if you got an agent that stopped their lead order but extra leads came in, there's a possibility we can check with the vendor in your area to see if maybe there's some overflows that you can work. And these are leads that they've never been worked, they're fresh leads. And again, I didn't mention it, but leads are exclusive. They're not recycled, they're not resold. The only time that leads are, and technically they're not being resold, but if they do get extra or excess or what we call overflow leads, those go into their inventory, which you can purchase as an agent, but they've never been worked before, so they're fresh to you, and all leads that are generated are exclusive forever. So I'm going to get into the lead sample, Jimmy, what the lead says. Any questions or any thoughts come to mind from you before we move on?
I don't have any questions. I think it's, everything you're talking about so far is really great. So, go ahead and continue.
I'm excited about it. I've already placed my first, they dropped my mail yesterday.
Nice.
So I'm going to do my test and I'm going to get that. I mean, I know what the lead says, so I know what to expect. So, I mean, it's just, it's a direct mail final expense lead. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can get a better, here's the lead sample. This is going to be, I think, pretty much for every state. It says you may qualify for a state regulated program to pay for your final expenses, regardless of your medical condition, even if you've been turned down before. This is very similar. If you guys have ordered leads through Need a Lead, I think it's the DE70 and the DE72. I think the language is identical. It's important you know how to qualify for these benefits available to you. These benefits will pay for 100% of your funeral expenses up to $35,000. This payment is tax-free for Texas residents or wherever. You're entitled to receive no cost information as a resident of whatever your state is. Important, return this postage paid card within 5 business days and receive a free Walmart gift card. So it does have the Walmart gift card option in there, which is going to raise the response rates high enough where they can offer that $30 fixed cost lead. Okay. Now, some people may say, they just want the free Walmart gift card. Yeah, you may get a few of those. I've talked to agents in other marketing groups that have worked the Walmart gift card. You got to remember, when they fill the form out, okay, they're mailing it back, and it's there's not like a receipt, or they don't retain a copy of the lead card, and it really doesn't talk about the Walmart gift card until at the very bottom. And I'm not saying you're going to get some people that are like just want a free Walmart gift card. All right, mail them one, but go out and buy some $5 Walmart gift cards so you have them, you can give them away. The agents that I've talked to that have worked similar leads have not had a problem. To them, it's not a big deal. The only way it's going to be a big deal is that if you let that get up in your head. I think as the agent, if it bothers you and you're thinking to yourself, oh, they only want a free Walmart gift card, yeah, then maybe that's going to be an issue. For me personally, I'm going to treat it like any other direct mail lead. And believe me, I've worked plenty of direct mail leads in the past that I didn't like the language at all. This one, I love the language. It's very straightforward. In the beginning, the Walmart gift card really doesn't concern me. I guess I'll know a little bit better when I actually work them because I personally have never worked a Walmart gift card lead. But I've worked other leads where literally, if you read the card, it sounded like you're getting something free from the government. Lead cards that say, as an example, something like many seniors today, or there's government programs, or it says on the top of the lead, government supplemental. Many seniors living today are unaware that they qualify for benefits. And to me, when you read the card, it sounded to me like, oh, wow, there's a free program. Okay. This doesn't mention anything about the government or free programs. It talks about a state regulated program to pay for final expenses. Okay. So my recommendation is that if you are if you're if you got a problem with the Walmart gift card, don't do it. Or if you want to do that, I guess you could still do the test. If you want to do the test and just try it out, keep in mind, you're responsible for all the leads that come in. If they do 1,000-piece mail drop and you get 15 or 20 leads, you're responsible to purchase all those leads, whether you like them or not. Okay, so don't order unless you're willing to pay for them, and don't order if in your mind already you're thinking that the Walmart gift card is a negative. This is probably not the right program for you. But I think the stronger salespeople and the people that focus on the concern of the program and mentally, I'm just telling you, man, just work this lead card the same as you would any other lead card, and you will not have a problem with it. And like I said, the big benefit is that you're not floating your money. I know with other vendors, Jimmy, when I was on a 30, 25 to 30 lead a week lead order, there were times where that lead vendor, I was owed anywhere from 100 to 120 leads. Okay. And at $30 a pop, guys, that means I was out 3,000, anywhere from 3,000 to $3,500 out of pocket waiting on those leads. To me, that's like very discouraging. Okay. So the beauty of this is that you're not going to be in the hole. The lead vendor is never going to owe you 100 or 75 or 100 leads where you paid for them. You're like, what the hell's going on? And then you're like, well, let me stop my lead order. Wait till they catch up, and then you can get going. Man, this is going to be continuous. Couple other things I've got on here. I just want to talk about lead credits real quick. Here are the examples of if you get a lead, how you can get a lead credit. One, obviously, if the person's deceased. If they moved, a lot of times what will happen is someone will move and their mail is getting forwarded to the new address. They fill it out, but they don't enter in their new address. So I've had it where I go to I knock on a door asking for a person, like, oh man, I don't know, or that person moved 6 months ago, or whatever it is. So they don't live there. If the mail recipient states that the intended recipient has moved, you can get a lead credit for that. You can get a lead credit for duplicates. Only mail cards per household in the same drop. So Jimmy, I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you. Have you ever had it where two mailers went to the same house and both the husband and the wife filled it out?
All the time.
all the time. That's a lead credit now, okay? Now, the good thing is that that's usually like a guarantee sale. You know, when you get two lead cards back and it's Bob and Mary and they're at the same address, that's usually a pretty damn good sign that you're going to make a sale. Age over 85. From my understanding, they're really the list that they're working from. They're only mailing up to age 80. But if you do happen to get someone over age 85, you can get a lead credit. PO boxes without either a home phone number or an address. So if they happen to mail a PO box and that lead card is returned, a lot of what will happen if it's mailed to a PO box, the recipient will physically handwrite in their address. If that's not filled out or you don't have a phone number to contact them, you can get a lead credit for that. And do not contact. Occasionally, now these leads are supposed to be scrubbed, but I know with other vendors, sometimes you'll get a lead card that will come in and it'll say, you know, take me off your list, or, you know, mail me something, or, you know, something like that. If it's a do not contact, mail recipient states they do not wish to be contacted. That should have been filtered out in the first place, but sometimes they'll slip through. You'll get a lead credit for that. And then also agents are, and I'm going to work on clarification of this, but agents agree to purchase excess leads not to exceed 50% of each weekly cost lead per order. And that's how we're recommending you guys to order your leads, is do the $30 per cost leads. Return from the stop order. Oh, okay, all leads, responses returned from orders placed prior to stop order. So if you decide you want to stop the program, you're still responsible for all the leads that, like the mail. Remember, it takes 3 or 4 weeks for leads to come in. So let's say you've been on your lead order for, you know, a couple of months and you decide to stop it. There's still 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the occurrence of your order. There potentially could be 3 or 4 weeks of lead orders that are still coming in. You're still responsible for those leads that they mailed for you. Hopefully that makes sense. Well, that's it for the new lead vendor. If you are interested in getting more information, just contact me directly. We can go over the program. You don't purchase the leads from me. Like I said, this is not a senior solutions program. It's a third party vendor. You deal directly with the vendor. The only thing is I'm not disclosing the name of the vendor on the video because we make this public and it goes on our YouTube channel for anybody to view. So I'm kind of holding it tight to my vest because I want to keep this information for senior solutions agents only. And, you know, you may be wanting to work leads in, I don't know, let's say, you know, Bexar County, Texas, San Antonio, and there's other agents out there that watch our videos. We just don't want them, you know, snatching up all the leads. So anyway, so if you're interested, contact me directly and I'll give you the name of the lead vendor, answer any questions, give you their website. You can get registered. If you're, you know, want to do your test drop, you can get your test drop going and all that stuff. Okay. Jimmy, any comments or anything you want to add before we move into the educational and the training part of our call?
Yes, Joe. You know, the number one reason why agents fail, it's not because they lack product knowledge. It's not because they're scared to knock on a door. It's not because they stumbled through the presentation, or it's not because they didn't have a tablet. It's not because they don't have a printer. The number one reason why agents fail is because they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have any leads. You really need to have fresh leads. You know, agents that are, let's say, either really tight on their budget, on their lead, let's say, budget, or maybe agents that are scared, they have a fear of taking that step and go ahead and placing that order and having to wait for those leads to be generated and come in. This is a program for you. I mean, I got to tell you, if you're able to, you know, set up a lead order, a direct mail lead order that is specific for you. In other words, like Joe said earlier, these leads haven't been collected. They're not sitting in inventory waiting for you to buy them. When you place this type of lead order, the vendor is going to prepare the mail. They're going to drop it to the demographics and to the area that you select. Um, Once the people see that, they're going to respond and they're going to mail in that card, and it's going to come back. It's coded to you. So when you get it, like Joe said earlier, it's fresh. They literally mailed it back a few days ago. Whatever it takes for a
Right.
first class postage to come back, however long that takes, that's how long ago they sent in the card, right? 2, 3 days. So when you call them or call on them, you knock on their door and you show them that lead card and you responded so quickly, first off, you're eliminating, I'm going to say, about 90% of all the objections that we get from door knocking, right? Because when you're door knocking a fresh lead, they're a lot warmer. They're very happy to see you. They're excited that somebody responded so quickly. And it really, that in itself is the game changer, because now you're able to, effectively get their attention to either do a presentation, right then and there, or set up a time to do a presentation. But guys, I mean, again, if you're not on a reoccurring direct mail lead order, here's an opportunity to take advantage and change that and have a breakthrough in your business. Here's what I can tell you about game changers or breakthroughs, whether it's this business or another business. Breakthroughs, they they might be a long time coming, but the actual breakthrough is instant. The minute that you make that choice to do something, the minute the light bulb turns on and you totally get it, the minute you have that breakthrough, I mean, that's a very short period of time, right? So once you have that breakthrough and you put that in force, your life changes. And this could totally change your business right here. So, I mean, Joe, I'll turn it back over.
Perfect. One other quick thing about the lead cards. Jimmy mentioned it, I forgot to mention it, is that they are barcoded. So when you place your order and they're mailing those leads out, and then some counties, as an example, like, Harris County, Texas, which is Houston, Bexar County, in, San Antonio, Cook County in Chicago. I mean, those are like huge counties, big enough to support many, many agents. Okay. So on this barcode, what the vendor does, I've got my little cursor there, the barcode is encrypted with the agent's information, and it tracks everything. So they're able to know when that lead card was mailed out and when it comes back in. So each specific drop, they could be dropping for 2 or 3 agents in the same county. And to make sure that you're getting the leads that are coming off of your specific drop, that's the purpose of the barcode. So when that lead card comes back in and they scan it, it's like, oh, Joe Johnson, boom. And then this vendor has their own CRM. It's very slick. So instantly, the same day that lead card comes in, it's scanned and it's in your CRM where you can purchase the lead. Yeah, you got to purchase it before you can see it. So you purchase the lead, and then you see how many leads came in, maybe like 3 or 4 leads come in. initially they usually just kind of trickle in. You're able to purchase those leads, but that's how the lead vendor is able to keep those orders separate, utilizing that barcode. And I also just wanted to mention too is that it does the vendor does have, it's got a separate CRM. So that's the one thing about different lead vendors. If you're using Need a Lead, Lead Concepts, Your Insurance Group, this vendor, is that you're going to have to be a little bit organized and keep track of the different the CRMs. There's not one CRM for all the different vendors. So, all right. So enough on that. Let's move on to the topic of our call, working, fresh direct mail leads. And Jim and I are going to give you some great tips on how to be more organized and effective ways to work those leads. The first thing that we want to talk about is kind of your final expense toolkit. Like before you go out and start working final expenses or things that could make you much more effective out into the field working your final expense leads. One is that you need to order your new agent starter kit. It's going to be really tough to go out and effectively work direct mail leads and make presentations and work with clients if you don't have the proper materials. If you're not using the Senior Solutions pre-sale folder, I'm just telling you, you are missing out. Jimmy and I both can tell you that our presentations and our conversion ratios somehow magically increased when we started using the pre-sale folder. And I think a lot of it has to do with building rapport and credibility with your client. So just make sure you get your new agent starter kit. I'm not going to harp on this too much, but your business cards, you need delivery notices. You can't go out and do door knocks and work out in the field without having delivery notices, your ID badge, the flip chart. These are things that you're going to need. Also, not necessarily like required, but highly recommended, is utilizing the final expense toolkit. Now, if you're only working with one carrier, maybe you don't need the final expense toolkit. But once you get up and running and you're working with, a handful, 3, 4, maybe 5 different carriers, man, this final expense toolkit is, for me anyway, it was a total game changer. And it's the other thing too that Jimmy and I talked about. It gives you so much credibility, is that when you're working with the client, you're using your cell phone or a tablet, and you're actually typing in all their medications, and then you can pull up a list and you can show the client, hey, these are the carriers that potentially could make you an offer. Boom, boom, boom. You can do the 3-option worksheet right on there. So to me, it's a huge thing to have, is the final expense toolkit. Clipboard, go to Staples, Office Depot, or any office place, or order it from Amazon. Get yourself a cheap little clipboard, man. You can attach your leads on there, and Jimmy, we use the clipboard not only to have material clipped on there, but it can be used as a tool as well. So, we've had agents that have had to fend off dogs with their clipboard, and they're like, man, if I didn't have my clipboard, I probably would have gotten bitten, because I walked into a gated yard. I didn't see the dog, and the dog came after me, and I used my clipboard to beat the dog down. Or you can use your clipboard to tap on the door or a window. There's a lot of different uses that you can use the clipboard. I know my clipboard, like the corner of it is all beaten up from using it using it to tap on the door, because you can tap a little bit harder. So get yourself a clipboard, right, Jimmy?
Exactly. I'm going to say that is probably the #1 tool, next to having a pen, that I recommend. I don't know how many times I've been in a scenario. Maybe we didn't go inside the house. Maybe we're sitting on the porch. Maybe we're sitting on the
True.
step. Maybe we're standing up on the back of a car or hood of a car. Having that clipboard makes it easy for signing. It makes it easy for holding all the papers. But the other thing too, like Joe was talking about knocking on the door. I've gone to places where, you know, maybe you don't get a good knock on the door. Maybe the door is just like really solid or sturdy or something, heavy wood. Maybe it has a storm door. Maybe it's all brick and there's no place to knock, and all you have is that little half-inch space on the trim next to the door. You know, you get that the side of that clipboard and you knock on it that way. Boy, it gives you a good loud knock, and people come quick. So I mean, to me, that I think this is the most important tool. I personally like the wood clipboard, like what Joe's showing, but with the smaller flat clip on it instead of that big one. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Me too.
that's my favorite. I buy them on Amazon. I think is like get like 5 for $10 or $12. They're
It's
pretty
got the
cheap.
flat, like spring loaded,
Yeah.
with a little rubber piece on it, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, those are so cool. But anyway, man, get you a clipboard if you're not using one already.
Yeah, order it. And Jimmy's right. I forgot about this. I mean, I know more and more agents are using e-applications with their tablet, but in a situation where you can't, man, I mean, the clipboard you can use anywhere, and it really turns into like a little mini table that you can use. I don't know how many applications I've written where we were just sitting on the couch, and I mean, I'm using my clipboard, and fold the page over where they're supposed to sign, hand them the clipboard, they're signing. So you know, spend the whatever a clipboard cost. I don't know, a couple of bucks. It's cheap. You need a route planner, some sort of route planner. I'm going to get into this a little bit later. Road Warrior is one that we highly recommend. But I'll go over a couple of other ones. Regardless of what route planner you're going to use, you need a good route planner. You can't go out with 20 leads and just aimlessly be driving around, or trying to figure out which one is closer. Either use one of the free ones or invest a couple of bucks and get yourself a good route planner. And you need a good a sales portfolio. You don't want to be going into the house with some big satchel or a briefcase. The nice thing of this is an example of what Jimmy's sales portfolio looks like. It's nice and thin. It's probably less than 2 inches thick. You can put a couple of paper applications in there. The thing about the paper apps is that what you want to do is have the extras in your car, in your trunk, and in your portfolio. Maybe you only put like 2 or 3 applications of each carrier, and every time you use a paper app, you just refill it. You don't want your portfolio to be really thick, but a nice professional looking portfolio is great. You can see on the side there, I see Jimmy has, you see that Sparrow piece there, that's the flip chart. These are also big enough. If you've got a tablet, you can slip your tablet right in there. So invest a few bucks, get yourself a nice professional sales portfolio, and get one that's big enough to fit everything in there, but not so big where it looks like you're a traveling salesperson. Get one big enough where it just kind of looks like an oversized clipboard, kind of. And I think that's it. The only other thing I would recommend, and which would be optional, is maybe getting a tablet. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Um, Jimmy, are there any specific tablets maybe that you would recommend that you think work better than other ones?
iPad. I mean, I love my iPad. I know there's a lot of people that like Google or Android products. It's really your preference, but I mean, my iPad is the bomb. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, iPads are great. The other thing too that we talked about with if you're going to invest in an iPad, also go ahead and get it connected to internet service independent of your cell phone. I think we talked about that before. That would be something important to have. But um, iPad is not like, it's not the end of the world. Every carrier pretty much that we work with still accepts paper applications. So you could do a paper app, you can scan it on your phone, you can take it home, you can fax it, you can scan it and email it to the carrier. So, you know, having a tablet is not a deal killer. It's just an extra thing that you may want to consider. All right, let me see what else I got going on. Here's just a snapshot of the tools that we talked about. Get organized, man. Jimmy and I talk about all the time about getting organized, man. If you're going to be successful in this business, you're not going to do it by flying by the seat of your pants, man. You need to be some type of table of organization, okay? There's a couple of, we've done videos in the past, and I'll leave some links in there about some things that we talked about how to get organized. So we're not going to go into great details about how to get organized, because honestly, that's like a 1-hour webinar just by itself. The important thing is that you just want to have your office neat and clean. Get yourself set up where you are organized. You know, you've got all your applications and brochures, and you know your leads and vendors. You've got all your passwords written down, and just be organized. And I think when you're organized and you're not living in chaos, when your sales career every day you're like in chaos, you're going to be a lot less effective than when you're organized. And the other thing about getting organized, the time to get organized is early in the morning and late at night. The time to get organized is not in the middle of the day, which we would consider to be income producing times or activity. Getting organized isn't necessarily an income producing activity. It's just going to make you more effective. One thing I would recommend is there's a quick and easy book. It's a quick read. Brian Tracy wrote a book years and years ago called Eat That Frog. There's been several editions. This says it's the 3rd edition. There could be a 5th edition by now. I don't know. But if you need some tips and you need some ideas on how to be more organized and how to be more productive, and make sure that you're getting the most important things done first, read this super easy book. It's not a long book, it's super thin, but it's one of the best books I've ever read as far as being organized. And what happens is that when you get your life organized and you get your sales in line, your sales career a little bit more organized, it's gonna help eliminate procrastination. Okay, and that's ultimately what we want to do. The other thing too is that I think it was a year ago, I think it was in January of 2020, we did a webinar called How to Get Organized for 2020. And we looked at Bob and we looked at Larry. Bob was unorganized, Larry was unorganized. It's a great video on how to get your files set up at your house, in your car, everything that you should have to be more organized. So what I'm going to do is, when we get this posted to our YouTube channel, in the description of the video, I'm going to leave a link to this video so you can go back and watch it. Or if you just want to go to our YouTube channel, you could probably type in, if you're on the Senior Solutions channel, if you just type in, get organized, it'd probably take you right there as well. All right, man, so get organized. Moving on, route planner tools. Funny thing is that I can remember, when I reflect back when I got into this business in 2009, I believe MapQuest was there. I know it was there because I used MapQuest. The thing about MapQuest is that it didn't have any optimization. Like I could from my house to an appointment, I could type in the address and it would give me a map, and then I didn't have a GPS, so I'd have to print out all the pages to figure out how to get there. And if I was going to do 20 door knocks for the day, I'd have to plug in each address, see where it is, and then just kind of mentally on the map say, well, I should go here, then there, and there. And it was a real pain in the butt. Okay. Fortunately, now there are some great, some much better tools. As far as free route planners, MapQuest, and I believe with MapQuest, you can now put in multiple stops and then you can optimize it. I don't really know how effective it is. You got to check it out yourself, but it's free. You don't have to pay to use it. And there's another one I came across that an agent was using. It's called Route XL, and it's free as long as you keep your stops less than 20. So if you put in 20 or less destination points, you can optimize it and it will do it. I don't really know how effective it is. I'm just giving you guys some ideas. If you're not ready to pay for a route planner, some ideas of how you could do it. Now, as far as the paid planners, the one that agents in our agency typically use is Road Warrior, which I say is probably the number one planner that we use. Jimmy, I know you've used Road Warrior before. Great reviews. It's a great tool. And then the other one is Route for Me, which is another paid planner. So that's it on the route planners. Any extras or any little tidbits you want to add as far as getting yourself a good route planner?
Guys, spend a few dollars and buy Road Warrior. Um, don't be cheap. You're gonna waste a lot of time. Time is money. You're gonna waste a lot of time on that free shit, and this is only gonna cost you what, like $6 a month? Come on, just do it. Let me tell you why you should get Road Warrior, because you type in, let's say you get all your leads in, whether it's 5 leads or 100 leads, right? It doesn't matter. You can upload them or type them in on the computer, and then it instantly syncs to the Road Warrior app on your phone or tablet, but let's just say your phone. That's how I use it, right? And I name the route. I can name it by date, I can name it by area, I can name it by zip code or type of lead, but I name the route. That route is stored on my phone now, and I can always refer back to it, right? So when you talk about organization and you're running leads, let's say you run leads for a year, right? You're not having to go back and try to find that free stuff that you had on a paper that you printed out that you took all night to put together. You just simply go back to Road Warrior and pick the name of that route, right? And then as you're going, it has a thing that's called optimized route. So let's say I'm going to start at my house and I want to work to the furthest way out. So that's going to be my first stop. And I want to end coming back at my house. And I hit optimize. It's going to put them all in order to go to the furthest one out and work my way back in. If I want to start close to my house, I just tell it where I want my first stop, right? And then, but let's say during the course of the day, I have to go, drop something, go to another side of town to address an issue. Maybe it's another customer I need a signature on or whatever. Right now, I'm out of that area. I just hit optimize, and it re-optimizes it based on my current location. Let's say I drop this route and I come back to it a month later, right? I check off the ones I've already hit, and then I hit optimize. So again, based on my current location, why would you not throw $6 a month for something that's going to keep you that organized and that on track? It just makes no sense to me. Don't try to save a penny when that could be costing you hundreds or even thousands of dollars in commission.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Very good. Good endorsement for Road Warrior. We should get a kickback from them. I know we got a lot of agents use Road Warrior. All right, sales scripts. Man, rehearse, drill, practice your sales scripts. Get them down. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty. We've got plenty of awesome training videos. You call me, I'll rehearse with you all day and role play with you to make sure that you got your scripts down. When it comes to working your direct mail leads, the two main scripts that you need to get down, one is obviously your door knock script. Hi, Mr. Johnson. My name's Joe Smith. I'm the state licensed agent who oversees your area. I'm here today because you recently sent us this card in the mail. Great thing is you've qualified for these benefits. My job is just simply to help you with the enrollment process. Only takes a few minutes. May I come in? That when it comes to scripts, the key is less is more. Keep it simple. I know people are going to look at these scripts and they're going to rewrite it and add a bunch of things that aren't in there and make it more complicated. Keep it simple, man. And the key is you're showing them the lead card in their own handwriting. Hey, you'd filled this card out. My job is simply to provide you the information. Great news is you've already pre-qualified. My job is just to help you with the enrollment process. Only takes a few minutes. Sometimes you just got to, oh, okay, well, come on in. We did this is another video that I'm going to refer to that I'm going to leave in the description of this video. And we did this is probably 2 years ago, because this was back when, you remember Tony from Kentucky?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is a call that he was on. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he was a guest speaker, phenomenal sales guy, great door knocker. Anyway, this is a video we did a couple of years ago. It's the 4 tips on how to be a stronger door knocker. Highly recommend you check it out. Again, I'm going to leave the description in the link below. So I'm going to leave the link for how to get organized, how to be this is one of the best calls we've ever done on door knocking. So definitely check it out. And then the phone script, if you're gonna preset appointments, which I highly recommend. Presetting appointments is awesome if you're good on the phone. What I can tell you is that usually most people are better in person than they are on the phone. My recommendation, unless you're a sales pro and you're really good on the phone, is don't blow your leads on the phone. Go work them face to face first, then try calling them. After you're making money, and you get those leads that you weren't able to contact, set up your calling times to work your to set up preset appointments. But if you think you're going to work direct mail leads and you're not going to door knock and you're going to do it 100%, just doing preset appointments, one thing I can tell you is that you're going to need probably twice as many leads as you would if you incorporate door knocking into that. So any tips on the phone script, Jimmy? Because I got one other tip and then we're going to end the call.
Okay.
What's your thought on I know you're a pro, so your thought process may be a little bit different, but what's your thoughts on door knocking versus, calls, preset appointments?
I'm just going to tell you what works for me. And even when I was just a rookie, this worked for me, right? So if I'm working fresh direct mail A leads, I have no trouble calling people. Like, I don't hardly get any objections on the phone. If it's fresh, it's an easy book. It's just a matter of, did they answer the phone? I don't get that many rejections on a direct mail fresh lead. If it's a B lead, it's aged. Oh man, you're just gonna get a lot of rejection on the phone. So for me, when I get an older lead, I just door knock them, right? But if it's a fresh, I don't have any problem calling them first, trying to set up some appointments, and then I'm going to get out there and door knock. So just to say this, let's say somebody answers the phone and I try to talk to them and they reject me over the phone,
Okay.
I'm still going to door knock them, right?
Right.
So I'm going to door knock every lead regardless, but it just makes it easier to set up the easy ones, that low hanging fruit, by phone. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But I'm
Yep.
going to give you a couple of tips when it comes to booking appointments. One, you want to book that appointment ideally within 24 hours of the phone call. So I don't give them the choice of later this week. I say, I'm going to be out in your area tomorrow, right? What time makes the best sense for you? I just leave it open ended. If they say, let's say there, a lot of people just say 3 o'clock. Okay, if I don't have already something conflicting, then I'm going to put them down at 3. If I do, I'll say, hey, well, you know what? I already have an appointment at 2:30, not too far from you. How about 3:30? Would that work? Okay. And you know what? That kind of like gives you some sort of credibility because they understand that you have some other preset appointments. But let's say they say something like, oh, sometime in the morning. Okay, well then now I'm going to narrow it down. I can be there early, like at 8 o'clock, or late morning, like a 10:30, 11. What works better for you? And then I let them tell me. And then again, if it's available, that'll work. If it's not available, then I'll try to fit them in, right? I always go for tomorrow. Now, if they say something like, I'm going to be out of town tomorrow, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, I'm going to be there all day. Okay, how about tomorrow evening? You should get home, what, about 4:35, get your time to get settled in. How's 6 o'clock? Will that work? I'm going for tomorrow. But if tomorrow is an absolute, like, I can't do it, and they say, oh, okay, well, how about then I go to the next day. So 48 hours. I don't go beyond that. If they say, if I'm calling on a Saturday and I'm trying to book for Monday and they say, oh, come out on Thursday, that is not going to stick. It's just not going to stick. So I don't even try to book that. If they can't do it within 24 to 48 hours, then I will just call them back later to try to schedule that, because what you're going to do is you're going to set yourself up for failure. You're going to block out that time hoping that they're going to be there, and you could have been door knocking, or it's going to mess with your rhythm somewhere else.
Yeah.
The only exception to that is if they're still working and they say, well, I'm still working, my only day off is Thursday. Okay, that's a legitimate reason for me. Let's do it Thursday. But then you got to call and confirm that, like a day before, or shoot them a text message. Usually I just send a text message that says, this is a reminder of your appointment tomorrow for final expense with Jimmy Hernandez at such and such time. Boom. So I'm not asking a question. I'm just sending them a reminder. If it's not going to work for them, they'll call back or text back. But anyway,
Right.
that's what works for me, Joe.
Great tips, Jimmy. Guys, we have a lot of training on, like I said, we're not getting into how to make the phone call. We've done plenty of videos. There's plenty of material on the channel to go back and review how to do that. Jimmy and I both are willing to work with you and role play, make sure you got your script down and how to cover objections and all that. So lastly is what I consider the money maker, and that's track your daily activity, man. If you're running any type of lead, but we're mainly talking about direct mail leads today, man, you need to unequivocally track your activity. This is probably one of the single most important things that you can do for yourself, your self accountability. This is your business in a snapshot, and we've got great training on our channel on how to do the activity tracker. So we're not going to get into the nitty gritty and the details of how to do it. Just know that you need to do it. Make sure you print those pages out and you're tracking how many dials you're making. If you are making preset appointments, your door knocks, track your activity. I don't know what more I can say about this, Jimmy, but this is probably one of the most important things that you can do for yourself and for your business is to track your numbers.
I love it, Joe. I'll just add a little different spin. You know, Grant Cardone says that we should control our time, not manage it, control it. And he goes on to say what he means by that is like, if you're going to make calls, why not say, all right, in this 15-minute block, I'm going to make, X amount of dials, right? And so you can block out smaller time slots and say, let me see how many dials I can make in these next 15 minutes. Let me see how many dials I can make in the next 30 minutes. When you try to block out the whole day, that just becomes a burden, and it gives you excuses to procrastinate and do other things because you have all day to do it. No, block out a certain time, smaller increments of time, and try to make as many dials as you can, and this will just keep you on pace. But if you do that, you'll find that you're going to get motivated, you're going to be inspired to continue to make calls as you're seeing success, setting up appointments and stuff like that. Same thing with door knocking. How many doors can I knock on here in the next hour? And so you try to knock on as many doors as possible. So control your time and use this tracker to, keep yourself accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. The activity is the most important thing. And like what Jimmy was saying, what I'll do, man, when I'm booking appointments, like I'll have like a little, like what Jimmy was saying, man, you may have like a 4-hour window that you're going to make calls, but I'll do things like, hey, man, like almost have like a little personal contest and be competitive with myself. Say, hey, man, let me see how many dials I can make in the next 20 minutes. Okay, I made this many dials. Let's see if I can beat it. And before you know it, 3 or 4 hours have gone by, and you've made 250 or 300 dials, in that time period where, there's some agents that won't make 300 dials in a month. So condense those. When it comes to goals, especially with prospecting, man, crunch it into small little time segments like that. And again, we've got plenty of training video on this. All right, the last tip we're going to give you is, because we're running a little bit over, but who cares, is you got to do the work, man. You got to roll up your sleeves and do the work. Jimmy and I can give you all this great information, and we can give you the product knowledge, and we can teach you how to do the sales scripts, and you can order leads. You can do everything right. But if you don't roll up your sleeves and go do the work and put massive action in it, I don't care how well you know the products. I don't care how many leads you have in inventory. I don't care how organized your office is and you got everything alphabetized and it looks like a museum in your office. If you don't do the work, you're not going to be successful. You got to go out and do it, man. What's the Nike saying? Just do it.
Just do it.
That's how we're going to end the call, is take all, they say, what's the little saying? Information is power. That's not necessarily true. Information is not power. Only implied information is when you imply the information that you've learned. If you got all this great knowledge, it's like kinetic energy. It's like a battery. Like a battery has all this energy, but it doesn't go out until you connect it with someone. Don't be a battery. Don't have all that energy stored. You got to put it out into the universe, man. And the thing about it is that it's kind of like working out. Have you ever noticed, like, if you're starting a new workout regimen, it's very tough, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And then you start craving it and you want to do it. Door knocking, prospecting, making phone calls, setting up preset appointments, working your direct mail leads. It can be a little bit overwhelming in the beginning, but once you get going with it and you got that momentum, it's like the flywheel effect, the pendulum effect. Once it gets going, it's hard to get started, but once the pendulum is moving back and forth or that flywheel is spinning, it's very hard to stop. It's like rolling that big rock. That rock may weigh 1,000 pounds, and it's like takes everything to move it. But once it starts rolling, it's very, very, very hard to stop. But you got to have the initial burst. And I can just tell you, for me personally, when I'm out running, man, it's like you get that adrenaline rush, and the more door knocks you do, the more sales that you make, the more you just want to go do it. And it just keeps compounding and compounding. And any last thoughts, Jimmy? But I know we ran over. This has been a great call. We'll leave it at this.
No, that was a great end right there, Joe. Rosie the Riveter right there. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
And rolling up the sleeves. So with that, guys, get out there, go produce, go make it happen for you and your family. It's on you.
Absolutely. All right. God bless. I hope this information has been helpful, informational, and inspiring. If you need help, give me a call. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, buddy. See ya.